Another story that's in the news, man, is so check this out, y'all. And I probably shouldn't be laughing at this. But apparently, Jason Van Dyke, we were talking about Laquan McDonald just a second ago, but the police officer who shot Laquan McDonald has been apparently getting his ass whooped while being locked up. And his wife has called a news conference to demand that his safety be ensured.
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
So let's go, man. We're gonna go read this story. As a matter of fact, there's video of this too. Let's go ahead and pull up the video of this press conference, because I actually did want to kind of speak to this is real rich, man. This is real motherfucking rich. But we're gonna read the story here. This comes out of channel 7, ABC 7.
The Black McDonald's Operators Association.
Okay, that was odd. Fucking auto start kind of shit. It says Jason Van Dyke, the former Chicago police officer who shot and killed Laquan McDonald, has been beaten in prison, and his wife is demanding answers. Jason's wife, Tiffany, says that he was assaulted in his cell by more than one person after he was placed in the general population at a federal prison in Connecticut. Van Dyke's attorney said that the former officer was attacked on February 7th. So let's pull this video up of her speaking on her husband's beating. You go ahead and pull this up so you guys can watch this right along with your boy. And here we go.
The Black McDonald's Operators Association celebrates the DuSable Museum of African American.
Okay, I'm not really with the commercial, y'all. Come on, man. And I can't fast forward through the commercial. So we're going to go ahead and mute that shit. And now here we go.
Process for myself and for my family. Unfortunately, I was made aware yesterday that my husband's safety had been compromised in the institution that they currently have him housed at. My children and I have been fearful for his safety, for his life. This entire time, I have said it from day one. I continue to say it. I said it on the witness stand in the courtroom during his trial. My number one fear for my husband has always been his safety. It always has been that somebody is going to get him and hurt him. And the worst has happened. The
worst has happened for your husband? Like, he's still living and breathing and shit, right? Laquan McDonald's family can't see him. Laquan McDonald was gunned down by your husband 16 times. And this is the worst. Okay.
Has been taken into a federal institution for reasons unknown. I have not spoken to my husband. I have not been allowed to speak to my husband.
Laquan McDonald's family hasn't spoken to their family member, and they can't speak to their family member because of your son, but because of your husband. But continue.
My children have not been allowed to speak to their father. There has been no visitation. Until 2 days ago, I was unaware of where my husband was being housed. I was adamant about trying to find him. I have been trying to find him every single day. I am fearful for him every single day. I live, eat, breathe, and sleep trying to make sure my husband's safety is number one. When I received a phone call yesterday that he was harmed, there was a group of individuals that physically harmed him. That was my biggest fear. I do not know if he is safe at this moment. I do not know the extent of his injuries.
He's not
unfortunately
dead. You know that.
Right now, it's a big question mark for me, for everyone. He was in a state facility. I have been made aware that he was in a state facility where he was safe. His safety was number one. My husband is a police officer.
Your husband was a police officer. All right, let's get that straight right now. Your husband was a police officer. Yo, your husband is locked up right now for murder. You're not allowed to be a police officer anymore if you're convicted of murder. Okay, your husband is no longer he's no longer the cop. He's no longer the cop that you grew to love and honor and respect. He's not that guy anymore. He is inmate number 0000000, whatever the fuck his inmate number is. He is not a police officer anymore. He is an inmate.
He is a stand-up man. He has always been a stand-up human being. This has already finished. He's had his trial. He was convicted. Everybody got what they wanted. They had my husband put away. All he wanted to do was melt to the background, do his time, and come home to his family.
You understood that your husband's case was kept like national news, though, right? You understood that there were going to be people who were behind bars who saw what your husband did to that young man and was like, yo, that's not right. It's funny too, like, you know, there's a code of conduct sort of in prison. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, there are certain crimes within even the prison walls where even the inmates are like, nah, man, what you did was fucked up. Like, if you are like a sex offender in prison, you stand a chance of probably getting your ass whooped. If you are a child abuser in prison, you stand a chance of getting your ass whooped. If you are a former police officer convicted of excessive force and you murdered a man on the street, gunned him down 16 times, chances are you're going to get your ass whooped. Niggas get beat up every day in jail, B. But not everybody gets a news conference called by their wife because, yo, my husband got his ass whooped because of the shit that he was doing on the outside when he was a police officer. This is the amazing part about this entire thing. She was able to call a motherfucking news conference because he got his ass whooped. A news conference.
Unfortunately, he is not being afforded that right. He's being basically a prisoner within the prison system. Mm-hmm. He's not awarded phone calls. He's on lockdown 23 hours a day.
Now, look how, like, if you're watching this live, man, you got to look at the look on her face when he's on lockdown 23 hours out of the day. That's common practice, B. Like, that's common practice for them niggas to be locked down all day. You get that 1 hour rec time. They lock down all day. All day. Suddenly, because your husband is the one behind bars suffering from this 23-hour lockdown, suddenly 23-hour lockdown is kind of a problem for you, right? It's a problem for you. How many people has your husband been part of putting in these facilities where they were in 23-hour lockdown? He was a police officer. Now, I'm not even saying that all of the people that your husband locked up didn't deserve to be in jail and locked down for 23 hours out of the day. Some of these dudes were probably doing some heinous shit out here. Nobody's saying that they probably don't deserve 23-hour lockdown. But your husband is convicted of murdering a dude. He shot a guy 16 times while on duty as a motherfucking police officer. And suddenly 23 hours lockdown is appalling to you. Amazing. Amazing how that works.
That is not safety.
Yes,
for him, that is not a safe thing. They are punishing him for being who he is.
They punish everybody in there like that. Like, your husband is no different. There's a whole bunch of dudes who are on 23-hour lockdown. Come on now, stop it.
If people want to say that this is, you've said it from day one. Everybody said it from day one. This is a race issue. This is a gigantic race issue.
And here it is, right? In much the same way that white people look at the drug problem in America, and we treat the drug problem differently in America now. When black people were strung out, high on crack cocaine, black people were thrown away. They were put in the criminal justice system. They were rotated around in 23-hour lockdown. You had the 3-strike rule that came down and everything. Like, we were willing to throw people away for their drug addiction and everything else. And now that white people are suffering opioid addiction, suddenly it becomes not a criminal justice issue, but a public health issue. And now we're looking for ways in which we can service these people to keep them out of jail, or to give them the psychiatric help that they need, or to give them the medical help that they need for their drug addiction. And when it starts affecting white people, when it starts affecting them, then suddenly our attitudes about these certain things starts changing. We start shifting shit up a little bit. And now here this woman is, her husband is being treated much like the niggas that he locked up. He's not being treated much different than the people that he put behind bars or that he helped put behind bars. And now this criminal justice system that they were benefiting from because her husband was a police officer, he made his money by putting people behind bars and everything else. Now he's subject to that same system that he subjected other people to. Suddenly your husband is a martyr and now it's a racial issue. No, bitch, this ain't no racial issue. Your husband is in there because he killed somebody and he shot them 16 times. And he's getting much of the same treatment that many of the black people who were put behind bars, many of the brown people that were put behind bars, hell, many of the white people who were put behind bars are being treated much like your husband. But the reason your husband is a hot motherfucking topic and a hot target is because of who he was and what he did. And nobody appreciates his abuse of power, his abuse of force, and shooting that young man down. This ain't just a racial issue. Part of this is just, this is par for the course and how they run those prisons. Now, it'll be very motherfucking interesting. Let me go ahead and pull this down because I'm tired of looking at this lady's face. But it's going to be very interesting to see whether or not, like, it'll be interesting to see like whether or not somebody decides that they're going to you know what, we have to reform the way we look at the prison system. We've got police officers who are being locked up behind bars and they're getting their ass whipped by some of the people that they probably locked up earlier. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we should relook at how we are administering our penal system. Maybe there should be some changes in that. I don't know, man. Like something about like white tears and this white woman being able to get up and like complain about the criminal justice system because her husband is suddenly like subject to it is very it just rings hollow and it's rich as fuck, man. It's rich as fuck. Like not all of a sudden, it's a race issue because it affects your husband. Fuck out of here, man. Fuck out of here. So yeah, man. Yeah, Brian's like, she gonna be all right. She definitely will be all right. I'm sure he probably, what is the interesting thing about that is she'll probably still get, like her husband will probably still get like a pension or some shit like that from the Chicago PD, even despite the fact that he's in jail right now for murder. It'll be like that's the craziness in all of this. And the fact that, again, like I said, like she was able to call a fucking news conference, a news conference because her husband got his ass whooped. How many dudes get their ass whooped in prison every fucking day and nobody gives a damn? Ain't no news conference called at all. Ain't no news conference called at all. Julius is in here. He's like, hey, he's a prisoner in prison. Exactly. Motherfucking exactly. So yeah, man, that like the whole shit, man, like even though she ain't black and whatnot, I'm just sitting here like,
nigga, please.
Ain't nobody trying to hear this shit, dog. Ain't nobody trying to hear this shit. But that has been our motherfucking news for today.